Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. I'm your host, Nate Weitzer, coming to you without Josh Lander here for this player props video. He is out on business just this morning, but we're looking at a bit of a switch up here as we wind down the regular season and get into playoffs. We're going to be bringing you one NBA slate-wide video early in the playoffs where we just look at our best bets. It could be anything. It could be team props, game lines, player props, etc. And just get straight to those picks and find the best value for you. Today, we are also going to do a late breakdown of the Clippers and Lakers in that huge game, but we're going to wait and see on the injury report to get some news there before we can make our best decisions. And as always, even with that game slate video, we're bringing you the player props, a fan favorite, our favorite to look at and to follow along. Coming off a night where we went, 3-1, I guess you would say. Avdia wound up sitting. Giannis missed some, hit some. Ant Edwards came up short. So a bit of a mixed bag, but look, we were 60% on the season at least. Josh is tracking this stuff in terms of the actual units, and we are going to be bringing you them through the playoffs. So like and subscribe to the page and take a look. Without further ado, I'm going to get into four picks here. And the first one, if you know how Josh calls me the revenge narrative guy, not surprised that I'm taking Russell Westbrook against the Lakers, against the team that he never really fit with and, kind of was the cause of the downturn in his career. And now he's with the Clippers across the hall, and it's a massive rested advantage for the Clippers tonight in this huge game. We'll look at it. Lakers on a back-to-back after playing overtime in Utah. Add a little bit of elevation, a long road trip. They handled business, but now they have to come right home. And it's an old team trying to play a Clippers team that's been offered 3 days and is offered 2 more days before closing their season, with a back-to-back or cupcake against Portland. This is all to say, look, energy, Anthony Davis might be out, which is going to hurt that defense for sure. Energy is going to be low for the Lakers. We might have D'Angelo Russell in there, which is going to hurt their defense at the point guard position. And he'll be probably carrying a bigger offensive load if we have other guys out. But the point is, like Westbrook, since the Paul George injury, has stepped up big time. 19 points per game, nearly 9 assists per game on a 26% usage rate. And in the last 4, the Clippers have really kind of changed up their offensive approach, which is much more of that sprawl ball, drive and kick mentality that's really boosted his assists. 19 points, 10 and a half assists, 33 minutes per game. The rebounding has not really been there at all for him. 4 rebounds per game in those 4. But I'm still taking PRA here. 31 and a half points, rebounds, assists is minus 104 at FanDuel. It's much better odds than just him getting 18 points. But I think the effort, rebounds are all often about effort. The fact that the Lakers might either be missing shots with tired legs or that they're just not going to have all their guys. They're not going to be as good of a rebounding team. We're going to see a smaller Lakers team, more Dennis Schroeder, more Austin Reeves at the 3, etc. Maybe less Anthony Davis. So I do think he can board up enough to help get there. But the 10 assists that you're probably going to see here, because the Clippers are just going to spread it out and shoot a lot of threes, and Westbrook's going to be the one distributing, and he's probably going to be able to score in the paint. Look, his last 4, even since the Lakers had AD, Westbrook 4 games with 2 with the Wiz, 2 with the Rockets. He's averaged 21 points per game, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. So it's not like he can't, contend with AD down low and score on a Lakers defense that's been really good. But they've also been going over, playing faster paced, and there's just a rest thing here. They do allow the 5th most points to point guards over the last 30 games, the 2nd most on the season. So that is the logic for Westbrook. Another point guard who I expect to have a nice game here, Kyrie Irving, 25 and a half points with the Kings on a back-to-back here in Dallas, and Dallas backs against the wall. And we worried about Kyrie, not even able to step up the last few games with Luka out because he had a foot issue, but you've seen him kind of turn it up in the last 3 with the Mavericks, like you said, clawing to get a play-in spot and avoid the added embarrassment. He's played 42 minutes per game in his last 3. He got 23 and 23 in some tough matchups. Then he got 41 against the Hawks, a very poor defensive team. And Sacramento is a very poor defensive team. They allow opponents to shoot 64% on twos. I'm sorry, Kyrie is shooting 64% on twos, Sacramento is 8th worst defending the 2-point line, inside the arc, and also gives up the 4th most paint points. So that is why I like Kyrie to be able to, knife right through this defense. We still have De'Aaron Fox props, which I would actually rather he play than Kyrie be guarded by Davion Mitchell, but it's a back-to-back, and Sacramento on back-to-backs giving up 125 points per game and allowing opponents to shoot 63% true shooting this year. Kyrie played them twice as a member of the Mavs, averaged a clean 26.5 points, 8.5 assists. Luka actually played in one of those 2 games, and the usage rate didn't shift too much. Kyrie still played 39 or so minutes, so 25.5 points is near even money. You get a lot better juice on the 6 assists, which I think is definitely in play here. Sacramento's given up the most assists per game, 29 since the All-Star break, along with 123 points, along with 14 threes, along with 25 free throw attempts. Just really struggling to guard. Aside from their nice defensive performance against the Pels last night, we'll give them credit for that. But I think that was kind of like a prove it to themselves situation where they're like, we can play defense, we can win in a playoff atmosphere. But I think tonight's game with a 242 total, I would not take the under by any means with Sac on a back-to-back here. And if it's going to be a high-scoring game, I think Kyrie 26 points is easy money. Here's your under. It's Brandon Ingram and those Pelicans on a back-to-back, and they're going to be against the Grizz, who are roaring right now, and an excellent rebounding team. So I'm going under 34.5 points in rebounds for Ingram, tacking on 6 rebounds. You can also go under 28.5 points, which is really high, but it's minus 120. If you go with the rebounds too, it's minus 106. I think I project him to score about 25 here. So if you're not worried about double-digit rebounds against a Memphis team that allows the 7th fewest rebounds to his position over the last 30, then I think you go with that. It's a back-to-back, and he's only played once on back-to-back since returning from that nagging injury early in the season. He had 26 points, 8 rebounds on 9 for 22 shooting on a 35% usage rate in 38 minutes in that, big game against the Warriors. So it's not like he's not getting the opportunities by any means. I mean, he is the man right now for the Pels, 32.5% usage in his last 11, averaging 28.8 and 6 boards. So that is where you get these props. It's right at his averages, but what does he do against Memphis? They shut him down recently. 16 points per game, 3.5 rebounds on a 100 offensive rating in his last 4 meetings. Granted, one was a blowout and he got injured, I think, in that second one. But the first meeting, 19 points in 38 minutes, and that's without Zion Williams. So that's the exact same starting lineup that the Pels are rolling out now, where it's BI's show to run. But Memphis is not really a team you can just get to the areas that he wants to score. The mid-range in the paint, they don't give that up. I mean, they can give up threes, and Ingram is not a very dangerous long-range shooter. So I think these props are just a little high for him. I'm going to close it out with Quentin Grimes in honor of Josh, his boy with the Knicks. I'm eyebrow raised to see Jalen Brunson at 28.5 points tonight against the Pacers in a game that doesn't matter for the Knicks, I think, at all. Granted that it's minus 120, again, for Brunson to go under. And I think he'll play a lot, but I don't think he'll be knifing carving up this defense the way he did against Miami when he had a career high. Next game out against the Wiz, he had 27 points. And this is important because Quentin, that means more, allowing other guys to step up. Like the Knicks down the stretch here are really integrating Grimes more and more because out of necessity, because Julius Randle's been out, but also because he's become a really good two-way player for them. And so he played 41 minutes against that poor Wizards team. It scored 27 with 2 rebounds, 5 assists on 20% usage. So now we're looking at his last 6, 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. His prop right now, 14.5 points at DK, minus 110, also minus 110 for 20 PRA. I think we go over on both of those. I think he probably scores close to 20 points here because I think he's going to play nearly the entire game and he's going to get more usage because just like the Wizards, the Pacers are not trying. I mean, they're just only trotting out young guys. Like it's a starting lineup of essentially rookies. And they've really been bad defensively because of that. And they have a 129 defensive rating, allowing 131 points in their last 5. And on the season, look, they allow the third most points to shooting guards. So it's a good spot for Grimes. It's a good spot for Brunson to just find him on the wing, let him fire. And look, he's been hitting this prop consistently. He had 14 points against Cleveland. But, that's the number one defense against shooting guards. So to worry about him getting slightly below 14.5 in a much better shooting matchup for his position, I don't think you should be too concerned about that. So those are our 4 picks here tonight. Like I said, check out later tonight around 4 p.m. Eastern time. We will have that Lakers-Clippers episode up for you with Josh hosting, and continue on through the play-in and playoffs. So like and subscribe to that page, follow along, and until we see you next, happy betting.